शन्नो मित्रश्चं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्पर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायु त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्भक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु भक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ सहना भवतु सहना भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Now let's see where we are in the Bhashya. Then it will make it clear to be able to pick up from there. We are on page 277, the last paragraph in the bottom before the notes. So, if you can see this much, this is exactly what we are doing here. Tasya Anandavasya Atmanah इष्टपुत्रादिदर्शनजं प्रियं शिरः एव शिरः प्राधान्यात् मोदः इति प्रियलाभनिमित्तः हर्षः स एव च प्रकृष्टः हर्षः प्रमोदः आनन्दः इति सुखसामान्यम्. This is exactly where we are. So we saw what is Priya, Moda, Pramoda according to the definitions of Adi Shankara. What is Priya, what is Moda, what is Pramoda? We already saw that. So, what is Priya? Ishtaputra darshanajam priyam. That which happens in the heart when you see your well-behaved and obedient offspring, okay, and somebody who is quote-unquote normal and who is going along with your expectations. That's very important. Who is able to jive with you. Yeah, so not somebody who is, what is that, you spent a lot of time raising this fellow and raising them, educating them, and then they say, what do they say? We are starting a band, heavy metal band. And so, then the heart of the parent sinks. Not because the band is a bad idea or anything, but it's just a very competitive play. It's very competitive. It's just every other person wants to open a band in the parents' garage, and so it's a very competitive. This whole, what is that, showbiz, very very competitive. That's why the heart of the parent gets sinks. And then, another scenario you can have, Anishta Putra Darshanam, a putra, meaning an offspring that has gone and joined an ashram, again after getting educated, after spending the parents' money for higher education, etc., etc. And then, and then somebody asks, what is your son or daughter doing? Oh, they have joined an ashram. How sad, how terrible. Yeah, it is like, what is that? In India, it is considered very auspicious if your neighbor's son or daughter joins the ashram. then you become a consoling factor for the neighbor or the friend, and you say, oh, but this is because of so much punya, and it is so wonderful, and it's so nice. And then, but when your own son or daughter joins the ashram, it is considered extremely inauspicious. Don't ask me why. There is no reasoning for this. Okay, this is highly illogical and totally, kilter. But this is what happens. So the parents want to laud and accommodate every other son and daughter joining the ashram, becoming a sannyasi, etc., but except their own. So if this kind of a person who went to the ashram and in kind of tattered clothes, carrying one bag, comes back, it is not priya janaka, meaning it is not it is not something that causes this vritti vishesha called priya. It does not change the heart, and it does not gladden the heart. That's why Adi Shankara, being very clever here, says Ishtaputradi. Ishtaputradi means Ishtamitradi. So Ishtaputra, etc. means Ishtamitra, a desirable friend, not just an acquaintance or somebody who pretends to like you on your face, but when you're not there, backbites and talks badly behind your back. Not that kind of a person. So, but here Ishtaputradi Darshana Jam means that which is born of. Jayateti Jaha Tam Jam. So that which is born of what? Ishtaputradi Darshanam. That which is born of seeing an offspring or a friend that is in tandem with you. You have certain wants, and they are ready, and they are also on the same wavelength as you. And that is something that causes this change in the heart called priya, 1 degree of happiness. And then that is increased. When is it increased? It is increased when that it's not just mere darshanajam, it is priya labha nimittaha. So it's not just that which is born of seeing. Seeing is anything. That's not the point, but it is yours. Now, whatever you have seen is yours alone. That is basically what causes this change called moda. And that's evacha harsha. So that same harsha, the harsha that was talked about here, the joy that which increases upon gaining, that is called pramoda. And then here is where we are. Anandaha iti sukha samanyam. So what is this ananda? The ananda is part of the text. So tasya priyameva shirah दक्षिणः पक्षः प्रमोद उत्तरः पक्षः आनन्द आत्मा. That's why it's in yellow. Ananda Atma. And he is explaining what this Ananda is. Ananda iti Sukha Samanyam. Sukha Samanyam means that which is common with Priya, that which is common for Moda and Pramoda. All of them are what in common. Ananda is what in common. Ananda is that which is in common for all three modifications, vritti visheshas, different kinds of vrittis, different kinds of dispositions, different kinds of degrees. Here also again we can say small degrees of Ananda. This is what it is. All of them. All of them are what is called Sukha Samanyam. And then, what is this Atma? Ananda is Sukha Samanyam. Okay. Ananda Atma. What is this Atma? This Atma here, don't say, oh, I know what Atma is. It was defined earlier as Satyam Jnanam Anantam. No. Atma means many things. Here, Atma means that which is this is that which is there, which is the truth of this Priya Moda and Pramoda. That is what Atma is. Atma here is not Atma. Atma, he explains, Priyadinam. So of the Priya Moda, Pramoda, Sukha Avayavana. Sukha Avayavana. Priyadinam Sukha Avayavana Atma. Even though it ends in the sixth case and doesn't sound like a full sentence, it is a full sentence. It makes more sense if you take this Atma and put it over here. Priyadinam Sukha Avayavana Atma. So avayava means limbs. So what are the limbs? Priya is one limb, which is the head. Moda is one limb, which is the wing. Pramoda, another wing, another limb. And then this Ananda is what is that? Sukha avayavana. So Priyadinam. So for all the Priya, etc. Sukha avayavana. Avayava means these limbs in the form of varying degrees of happiness. Atma, the truth of that, the essence of that. That is what this Ananda is. The Ananda is the Atma of Priya. Ananda is the Atma of Moda. Ananda is the Atma of Pramoda. Then the very important question arises, why? Katham? How? Why is very easy to understand. Teshu, Teshu means Priyadishu, Teshu, Anusyutatva. Anusyutatvat means because of being interwoven into this Priya, Moda and Pramoda. It's like so many things. Like it's like you have something with cheese inside and it's baked in. And you may have many different kinds of things. And you may have some casserole, but the cheese is already baked in. And then you may have pizza, but the cheese is already baked in. You may have some other things with the cheese as a stuffing, and the cheese is already baked in. So the cheese is the truth of all these items that you have just baked, because Teshu, all these bakery goods, inside the bakery goods, Teshu, Anusyutatvat. Anusyuta means, Syuta means interwoven. Interwove. It is all interwove. Okay. Because it is all interwoven, that's why what we have here is that so it is anusyuta. Anusyuta means it is already nicely and fully and totally interwoven. And it cannot be, if you extricate Ananda from Priya, there will be no Priya. And if you extricate Ananda from Moda, there is no Moda. Just like if you take away the cheese from the pizza, can it really be called pizza? That is the idea. And then, or macaroni and cheese. If you take away cheese, can it still be called macaroni and cheese? No, because the main thing is missing. The Atma of the macaroni and cheese is cheese. And so similarly here, this is what is the Ananda is the Atma of all modifications, which are, he gives a new name for these modifications. Priyadinam is the modification. Sukha Avayavanam, Sukha Avayava. These are all limbs of various degrees of happiness into which this Ananda is interwoven. Into which this Ananda is interwoven. And therefore what? Ananda iti param brahma. A beautiful taking off. You can see how there is a seamless taking off. So first he talks about Priya Moda Pramoda, then he talks about Ananda, which is the Atma of Priya Moda Pramoda. Why? Because it is interwoven inextricably in all these various degrees of happiness. What do you find? You find Ananda. And what is this Ananda? Satyam Jnanam Anantam. That Ananta itself is Ananda, and it is nothing other than our definition of Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Therefore, this Ananda is Param Brahma. It is nothing but Param Brahma. This is what it is. It is nothing but Brahman. Oh, so the Ananda of, listen to the implications of this, amazing. So the Ananda of Ishtaputra Darshanam, meaning seeing an offspring that is an object of love, that Ananda is in fact Brahmananda. Is that what you're trying to say? Yes, that is exactly what is being said. That is the idea. Very beautiful. And look how it nicely goes. It proceeds very beautifully, extremely wonderful Bhashya. And in fact, if you read the Tika, it is harder. Bhashya is so easy, really, very straightforward. With a little help, you can really understand how the things connect and how the sentence structure unfolds. And not just the sentence structure, but the ideas also, how they unfold. It makes it very, very easy. And in fact, many times, we study in the long-term courses. What we find is that we teach Sanskrit through the Bhashya alone, half of it. Half of it, of course, there are different classes, etc. Half of it is taught through through the text alone. The Bhashya reading makes the Sanskrit study really rewarding and goes up really. So, Teshu Anusyutatvat. So then Anandaha iti Param Brahma. Quietly he introduces Param Brahma here. And so basically the implication of this is that this Priya Moda Pramoda, whatever I'm enjoying, the person can say it is Brahmananda alone. And in fact, very ingeniously, we have the what's his name? Panchadashikara, Swami Vidyaranyaji, writing the Panchadashi, devotes the chapter 13, 14, and 15, the last three chapters to Ananda. And he talks about how if you have Vidyananda, if you are a nerd and you just like to study all the time, that is Vidyananda. You love Vidyananda, you have Vidyananda, you have a penchant for Vidyananda. That is nothing but Brahmananda. Then if you have Yogananda, you're interested in yoga, you're interested in emotional maturity, or even asanas, anything you can take, or the karma yoga, you're interested in that, you are interested in nothing but Brahmananda. Then finally, if you have Vishayananda, love for objects, that also is Brahmananda. Very beautifully he talks about it. Very, very wonderfully he explains that, it's really worth studying those three chapters, and very, very nice. And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, chapter 15 it has been put up of Panchadashi has been put up in the YouTube. You can take a look at that. You can take a look at those talks. It would be very pertinent, and it would cross-reference this here as well, the Taittiriya Upanishad also. So then, what happens? Then we have another sentence which we can, repeat here. Tadhi
Tadhi
Shubhakarmana
Shubhakarmana
Pratyupasthapyamane
Pratyupasthapyamane
Putramitradi
Putramitradi
Vishaya Vishesha
Vishaya Vishesha Upadhau
Antahkarana Vritti Visheshe
Antahkarana Vritti Visheshe
Tamasa
Tamasa
Pradhyadhyamane
Aprachhadyamane
Prasanne
Prasanne
Abhivyajyate
Abhivyajyate
Tadvishaya Sukham
Tad Vishaya Sukham iti
Tadvishaya Sukham iti Prasiddham Loke
प्रसिद्धं लोके
तद्वृत्तिविशेष
तद्वृत्तिविशेष
प्रत्युपस्थापकस्य
प्रत्युपस्थापकस्य कर्मणः
अनवस्थितत्वात्
अनवस्थितत्वात्
सुखस्य क्षणिकत्वम्
सुखस्य क्षणिकत्वम्
तद्यदा.
तद्यदा.
No, let's stop here. This is big plenty. Otherwise, that's a slightly different. That's a slightly different topic. So we can stop here. We have plenty of material here. So the gist of this, and then we'll see this in detail. So then, what he says is that this Ananda, the Ananda, we are not talking this Brahmananda. The Brahmananda cannot be sipped purely as Brahmananda, because really it's not an object. It is not Brahmana, Ananda of Brahman. Even though we use Shashti, sixth case, it is Aupachariki Shashti. It is just a excuse of a Shashti. It is not really Shashti usage. Why? Because it is like saying Rahu's head. Rahu is all head. Rahu Shiravat Aupachariki Shashti. So it is just a namesake Shashti. It is not really sixth case, meaning the Ananda of Brahman. That off is not really, that off you have to take off from your reckoning. The Ananda, not of Brahman, the Ananda that is Brahman. So that is the idea here. So therefore, the Ananda that is Brahman cannot be experienced as an object, but the Ananda that is Brahman is not away from any other object-centered Ananda that one enjoys in one's life. That is the whole idea. So the Ananda of Brahman is not far away and is not separate from any of the object-based Anandas. The Ananda is really Swarupananda. It belongs to you. It is yourself alone. But since it cannot be separate, since it cannot be enjoyed as an object, it is your own Swarupananda. But what you enjoy in the matter of objects is not away from this Ananda. That is the idea. Anandamiti Param Brahma. And then the question comes. Well, what is the question that comes? The question comes that how did this Ananda come? How did this Ananda come? How on earth did this Ananda come? Where did this Ananda come from? So let's say I have Putrananda. I have Ananda belonging to because of good offspring in my life. Or I have Mitrananda. Mitrananda means I have offspring, enjoyment based on good and loyal friends. Or I have some other kind of Ananda, chocolate cake Ananda, etc. Where is this Ananda moved? What is its source? That is what is being talked about very, very beautifully here. And Adi Shankara says something which is very, very interesting. He says, Shubha Karmana Pratyupasthapitasya Anandasya. Shubha Karmana. Look, what does he say? Tadhi. Tadhi means what? This Tadhi means that Ananda alone. That which is experienced as Priyamoda Pramodadi, that one Priyadi, so that is that which is that which is Priyamoda Pramoda, etc. That is the one. So that which is Tadhi means that Ananda, which is Param Brahma. Tadhi, that alone, Shubha Karmana Pratyupasthapyamane पुत्रमित्रादि विषयेषु उपाधौ अंतःकरणवृत्तिविशेषे तमसा अप्रच्छाद्यमाने प्रसन्ने अभिव्यज्यते इति. Tadhi means that Anandam Brahma, that Swarupananda alone. Tadhi, that alone, that Ananda Swarupa, Tadhi. And let's just, this is a very long sentence. Let us just take the bare basics of this sentence. Tadhi is the subject. Tadhi, what is that? Tadhi abhivyajyate, is manifest. Iti. So that alone, that Ananda is manifest. Now this is the bare bones sentence. That Ananda, which Ananda? Brahmananda. That Ananda which was just now 2 minutes ago described as Param Brahma is manifest. The question is, where is it manifest? Where, Abhivyajyate is manifest. How is it manifest? Where is it manifest? Why does it manifest? How is it manifest? Shubha karmana abhivyajyate. Very, very interesting. Shubha karmana abhivyajyate. This Mukhyam Brahma, this Anandam Brahma alone is abhivyajyate. How does it abhivyajyate? Because of your good karma. That's what the idea is. There are two purposes. Actually, Adi Shankara takes it as one, but I don't think he will be opposed to seeing both of them as separate, you know, as two different but connected reasons. Very beautiful it is. Two different but connected reasons. What are the reasons? One, he says it overtly, Shubha karma, good karma. Having offspring, that is, having children who are in keeping with your wavelength is because of good karma. Definitely. Other than having children behind the bar, definitely that is not very good karma. Whether we are talking of bar in terms of prison or bar where one goes to drink, neither place. You want your child. And so therefore, this is the good karma. That there is an understanding person and you have so many values and attitudes to give, and that child has imbibed the values and attitudes. It is good karma. Not of the child. Of the child, yes, for sure, but we are not talking of the child right now. We are talking of you. It's your good karma. This is just fabulous. This is just a fabulous reason, very fantastic reason. It is that it is your own good karma, and because of your own good karma, you are enjoying constantly Priya Pramoda. One thing, one reason is that. The other reason, kind of a related reason, even though he makes it the same reason, he Adi Shankara heavily invests in the good karma reason. That's why he brings that out much more. But there is another kind of a reason he hints at. Good karma, and then the other thing is a disposition. A disposition. What kind of a disposition? A pleasing disposition. Let's not say pleasing, because then we'll confuse it with Priya. A favorable disposition. Then we ask the question, a favorable disposition to what? A favorable disposition for enjoying the good karma. That also will be a favorable disposition. As the last three chapters, especially the final chapter of Panchadashi, talks about. So there are three kinds of dispositions in form of vritti. So Shanta vritti, Ghora vritti, and Tamo vritti. He talks about that. Ghora vritti is Rajasic vritti. Vritti here means disposition. So one can have a Rajasic disposition, one can have a Tamasic disposition, one can have a Sattvic disposition. And then if you have a Sattvic disposition, the Ananda shines on uninhibited. Ananda is already there. It is you. But then even if you encounter a delightful object, why does that, I wish it was different, why is it like this? Because the problem is not with the object. This clearly shows the problem is with the subject. There is a tamo vritti, a kind of a sad, down in the doldrums, victimy, that kind of a vritti, why me, what's going on, nothing is nice, and there is no, I always feel like this, nobody loves me, I'm just mired in all these things, and everybody just, goes about their own way, nobody even asks me how you're feeling. Okay, somebody suddenly says how you're feeling. What's the point in asking now? And all these days you just kept quiet. Now you're asking, what's wrong with you? And again the rajas comes out. And so really, you can't win with such people. And so here the vritti has to be, there has to be a kind of a disposition. What kind of a disposition? A disposition that is conducive to enjoying the objects. That kind of disposition must be there. Otherwise, you can't enjoy anything. You just be sitting there getting angry, angrier and angrier and crying all the time. That's what will be happening. And so these are two reasons. And and Adi Shankara says, well, the disposition is also because of good karma. And yes, he's correct. But it is important to know that even though even though we may say the pleasant disposition, a pleasing shanta vritti, a favorable disposition to enjoying good karma is due to what? Is due to the favorable is also due to good karma, favorable disposition. But I think it's good to separate it, because otherwise, what will happen? We'll start thinking, oh, my karma is bad. That's why you don't have a favorable disposition. There will be one more cry. I don't have good karma. That will become another lament. And that's not what that's not what either the Upanishad or the Acharya intended. Now, neither of those, neither the Shruti nor the Acharya intends for us to hang on all the, hang on all the problems on the container of karma and sit down and cry. No. And so that's why this reason must be mentioned separately. And so, what is the other reason? So, Shubha Karmana. So, one is, Shubha Karmana Abhivyajyate. Shubha Karmana Abhivyajyate. And then what else, So, then Shubha Karmana Abhivyajyate. How Shubha Karmana Pratyupasthapyamane. Pratyupasthapyamane. And Pratyupasthapyamane means set up, die, born of. Either way you can take it. Upasthapyamane means being born of, having been, this is how it is, passive voice. So having been born of what? Shubha karma, good karma, auspicious karma. So what is born of auspicious karma? Ananda. The Ananda, which is a manifestation of Param Brahma, this Brahmananda, which is manifest through Shubha Karma, is born of this Shubha Karma. So born of good karma and manifest through various upadhav, through the various upadhis of what? Putra mitradi upadhav. Putra mitradi upadhav, taking the help of various upadhis, the containers in which so many, the Ananda is packaged. So the Ananda is packaged in the form of good offspring, loyal friends, a wonderful community. So that you can rely, somebody you can rely on, a group of people that you can rely on. That is all good karma. So it is born of good karma and packaged in the form of various lovable upadhis, starting with chocolate cake and then graduating to other animated versions of it. So both animate and inanimate world of subjects, of other of objects, both jada and chetana, and inanimate and animate. They are because of the various, the same Ananda has taken on various upadhis, and in the form of these upadhis, what happens? Vishaya Vishesheshu, Vishaya Vishesheshu means through specific, special experiences, special Vishaya, special objects, and the special experiences generated by those objects. These Putra and Mitra through the form of various Upadhis, Tadhi Anandam Brahma, that Ananda which is belonging to Brahman alone is enjoyed. How is it enjoyed? Abhivyajyate is manifest. Manifest means it is there to enjoy. It is there to enjoy. But one more, it's not enough to have Shubha Karma. It is not enough to have various upadhis through which this is manifest. It is also not enough to have like good karma and all these upadhis, etc. One more condition is needed. And this is what is mentioned, Antahkarana Vritti Visheshe. In this vritti vishesha, in the disposition of the antahkarana, the mind, the inner instrument. So that Anandam Brahma has to shine. And where does it shine? It's not going to shine on your nose. It's not going to shine in your toes. So where is it going to shine? In the mind. And if the mind is full of all kinds of residues of various pains and sorrows, that one is flouting all the time, one is unwilling to let go. That kind of a mind which is crowded by victimization and upset and ghora vritti and tamam vritti and all these things. Where is the Ananda? Poor Ananda. And even if it's going to shine, it's like a copper with a patina of all kinds of, oxidization. So the mind is also like that. Where is it going to shine? Where is Brahmananda going to shine? So therefore, the Antakarana Vritti is very important here. So Antakarane, in this Antakarana Vritti Visheshe, in this Antakarana, which broadcasts the specific vrittis, and what should this Antakarana be like is given here. Tamasa aprachhadyamane. Prachhadyamane means covered. Covered by tamas. No. Prachhadyamane, not covered by tamas. So the tamas is negated for which? Tamas means ignorance. Tamas means a lot of, like a heavy unconscious, which is a heavy unconscious, which is bleeding into the present. Reactivity, anger, fear, non-accommodation of people and situations, non-acceptance, and non-self-acceptance, and non-acceptance of others either. Both of those things which bleed into the present and spoil the present. These kinds of vrittis, this kind of a disposition, when that is negated, aprachhadyamane, meaning what? It is anavrite, where the avarna is not there. Anavriyamane, which is not covered, which is not covered. Covered by what? Tamasa, by tamas. Now, in that kind of a antahkarana only, and he says prasanne antahkarane nirmale swachhe sattvadhikye. We have to add all this. So in that kind of an antahkarana, which is clear, like a placid lake, you can see the bottom of it. It is transparent. It has nothing to hide. It is not, the depths of which are not hidden. There is nothing to hide. There is nothing covering it. There is no fear, and there is no anger and all these things. What you see is what you get. So in this kind of an antakarana, very beautiful, prasanne antakarane, swachhe nirmale, which is free of raga, dvesha, free of kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, the six different kinds of emotions which nobody wants to have. And then where sattva guna is pradhana, sattvadikye, satyaguna pradhane, so antahkarane. In that kind of an antahkarana alone, abhivyajyate is manifest. What is manifest? Tadhi brahmananda, brahmanandam abhivyajyate. That ananda, which is Brahman alone, is manifest in an due to good karma. But then good karma you have. But then if you do not cultivate a disposition that is pleasing and that is free of all kinds of clinging to various things, this clinging has to go. Make it a non-clinging antahkarana. No velcro allowed. No velcro antahkarana that which just attaches noisily to and to all kinds of things and picks up things. No need to pick up anything. Just let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. There is that, I'm sure everybody has heard of it, but there is that what Buddhist joke. The monk is asking, one student is asking the Zen monk, the Zen master, Master, are we allowed in this day and age to do emails? Can we have emails? And then the master says, yes, so long as it doesn't have attachments. And so that is what it is here, that non-clinging way is cultivated. That clinging is the problem. And the clinging is because of tamas, the insecurity called tamas. You cling to people, you cling to situations, you cling, and then you feel bad that you're clinging, and then you give a nice reason why you are clinging, and then you will just justify the clinginess. And so here, this is so this swacha antakarna means that which has unclutched from its own disapproval of itself, and that which has unclutched from the disapproval of others. And in such a kind of in such a kind of an antakarna, it is clearly seen. This Ananda uninhibitedly shines. And then he will explain that further. He will wax eloquent on this. So tamas means it's a vritti. Tamo vritya aprachhadyamane, when it is not covered, when there is no sense of want all the time. The sense of want is in different degrees at different times. So when the sense of wantingness, when that clinging to the identity that I am a wanting person, when that goes down, then Ananda manifests itself more and more. There is a kind of an inverse concomitant relationship between between not clinging to that wanting nature and thinking that to be real, and then the abhivyanjanam, the manifestation of Brahmananda. Antakarana vritti visheshe means a particular type of vritti which is full of tamas. That vritti which belongs to the antakarana, the disposition. Because vritti means a lot of things. Vritti means profession, how you earn your livelihood. Vritti means thought, mental modification, and vritti also means some kind of an explanation given for a sutra, like Brahma Sutra vritti, and then what is that, Panini's vritti, etc. But here, antakarana vritti. Antakarana vritti means it's a vritti, it's a disposition. Vritti means disposition. So the disposition is as important as the punya, that is utpadyamane, punya. So when that punya is what? Pratyupasthapyamane means utpadyamane. When that punya is born, So born means just now it's manifested. That's why it's born. Before it was not there. Now the punya is there. The punya has come to the fore. And then what? Then the vritti vishesha is also is important. That disposition is important. And here, as I said, the disposition can be seen as part of the Shubha karma, good karma. I'm enjoying a good disposition because of good karma. That is wonderful to say and see. But that is, that can be misleading, because that can give somebody a cause to go deep into tamo vritti and say, well, I can't enjoy because God has not given me, my good karma has not given me a vritti to enjoy that. So, ma bhut, may let that not take place. So, therefore, this vritti vishesha has to be seen as an adjunct and as an auxiliary condition to enjoying that shubha karma. Why? Because it is in one's hands to cultivate. It's not entirely because of karma. Even if somebody is suffering, unfortunately, from chemical imbalance induced depression, it is still in their hands. They can go correct it. They can take a pill and correct it, or do whatever is needed to correct it. And so, therefore, this is so. Therefore, it is not vritti vishesha. Since it can be cultivated, since it is in our hands, it cannot be just a what is that a offshoot of karma. Okay. So then, so the disposition is born. Yes, the disposition is born. The disposition one enjoys because of punya karma alone, either purva punya or current punya, whatever it is. And then but it can also be cultivated. So tatra there putra mitradi vishaya vishesheshu. Then these upadhav, because in this upadhav, in this kind of upadhi means form. So in the form of putra, mitra, it's a vishaya vishesha means special things. Vishesha, specific things, vishaya, objects, in the form of special objects. Special objects such as dear son or daughter or dear friend. All this is there, okay? And then the one who gives you relief in the form of this upadhi. So, Vishesha Upadhav, Vishaya Vishesha Upadhav, and then in this Vritti Vishesha, so this Antakarana Vritti Vishesha, in this specific Vritti, which has the capacity to enjoy the good objects, desirable objects like Putra, Mitra, etc. So, Tasmin, in this vritti, provided it is tamasa aprachhadyamane, when it is anavrite, when it is not covered by tamas, then only you can understand this. Even Bhagavad Gita talks about tamo vritti, etc. And so all these various things, jealousy, envy, fear, and then anger, and then pride, needless pride, all these things. These are all tamo vrittis because of the unconscious, the heavy unconscious mind. They come. When the tamo vrittis come, then what happens? Then they inhibit the Brahmananda, which is already being broadcast in the mind. But since the mind is affected by these various vrittis, then the ananda is also affected. Just like when the copper has oxidization being left out in the open, then you don't see the shine. But the shine is there. All it needs is a nice scrub. So similarly, the mind needs to be scrubbed with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya soap, a mantra soap. Don't think mantra soap means some kind of mantra soap brand is there. No. So some kind of a mantra, it's not a brand, it's a mantra itself is the soap. And so it has to be cleansed through tapas, etc. He's going to come back and point that out. It's just amazing. Beautiful section. So the net result of not being opposed by inhibiting vrittis, it is called prasanna. Prasanna means clear, not pleasing, clear here. So prasanne antahkarane vritti visheshe tadhi brahmanandam abhivyajyate. In this clear antahkarana, devoid of tamo vrittis and rajo vrittis, all kinds of opposing vrittis, opposing this ananda, then this Brahman abhivyajyate. Abhivyajyate. And then, okay, tatah kim, then what? Tad Vishaya Sukham iti prasiddham loke. This is what is called as object-based delights in the world. And this is what is called delightful objects in the world. Amazing. So, Prasiddham, everybody knows this. You don't have to have a PhD in Taittiriya Upanishad. Acharya Adi Shankara says, Acharya says, you don't need to study my Bhashya. You don't need to study Upanishad. You don't need to study Veda. You don't need to study anything. You know what this happiness is. That when you discover in yourself a non-wanting, non-clinging, insecure, a relatively secure person, and then you are able to partake of the delights and have, and say, oh, this is delightful. This is what is called, this is what is famous in the world as Vishaya Sukham Prasiddham Loke. So actually it is not Vishaya Sukham. It is Prasiddham Loke. As Vishaya Sukham, it is Prasiddha. It is known, well known as object-based delights, but really it is not object-based. Yeah, why? Because we just learned it is subject-based. It is subject based because there is no other, and because of this vritti vishesha, because of the disposition that is favorable, a conducive disposition, Brahman is able to manifest. The ananda of Brahman, which is you, is manifest in the form of Vishaya Sukha, in the form of object-based delights. So that which is, Vishaya Sukham is Brahma Sukham eva. So that which is Vishaya-based Ananda is Brahmananda alone. This is what Bhashyakara wants to say. But then the question will come, a very uncomfortable question. What is that? If Vishaya Sukha is Brahmananda, then why should I study Taittiriya Upanishad? I'm happy. Vishaya Sukha Prasiddham Loke. Vishaya Sukham. So this Sukha is Prasiddha in the world. I can see it in the world. It is there. And you yourself said, what did you say? That Vishaya Sukha is Brahma Sukha. Is Vishayananda is Brahmananda. You yourself have spent so much time establishing that. We can tell the Acharya this. Somebody can tell the Acharya this. A silent, Purva Pakshi, a kind of a Purva Pakshi can come up and say, Purva Pakshi means the one who is objecting to this. Okay, so if Vishayananda is Brahmananda, then I can just be mired in all the Vishayas. Why should I go and study about Brahmananda? Why do I need Brahman in my life? Please tell me, why do I need Brahman? I don't need no Brahman at all. If I'm just having Vishaya Sukha, and if it is Brahman, then why should I go for Brahma Sukham? The answer to that is you need not go for Brahmananda. You understand in and through all Vishayananda is Brahmananda alone. That is what you have to understand. And when you understand this, what is this Vishaya? Vishaya has no meaning. No meaning there is. Vishaya has no, there is no meaning afterwards. Vishaya Sukham is Brahma Sukham means that there is only Brahma Sukham. Vishaya Sukham is Mithya. That's what it is. So, but, therefore, he points out this something which is very, very important. So then if Vishaya Sukha is Brahma Sukha, if you say that, no problem. But if you say that Brahma Sukha is Vishaya Sukha, the other way around, it does not work, then we have a problem. What is the problem? Because the Vishaya Sukha is Kshanika, Kshanikam. Vishaya Sukham, Kshanikam. Kshanikam means momentary. Vritti, the one who, Vartikakara, the one who is called Acharya Sureshwara, a disciple of Adi Shankara, writing the Vritti for Brahma, this one from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Vartika for Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, Sarve Samyogaha Viyogaha Viyogantaha Sarve Samyogaha. All coming together, all union is until things fall apart. All union is until it ends. Every union comes apart, ends. There is a shelf life. That's what it is. That is what based on Vishaya. So any Vishaya one unites with, then that is also what? That is also comes to an end. Kshanika, momentary. So that's why he says, Tad vritti vishesha pratyupasthapakasya karmanaha anavasthitatvat sukhasya kshanikatvam. So first we have to just take the last portion. Sukhasya kshanikatvam. So this sukha has sukhasya kshanikatvam asti iti. So first Acharya establishes, what does he establish? That this this sukha that is manifest in the form of the delights belonging to the objects is momentary, kshanikatvam. Kshanika means it lasts but a few moments. But then somebody said, oh, but I have been married. Somebody said this. Supposing somebody says, I have been married for 50 years. Okay, how many of those have been happy? That is the question we have to ask. So there again, few moments of happiness, and then again in the doldrums, and then a few moments of happiness. So this the happiness is just in little bursts and moments. So sukhasya kshanikatvam asti. What kind of sukhasya? The Vishaya sukhasya kshanikatvam asti. This is also prasiddham loke. This is also well known. Anybody who is an object chaser, object delight chaser, knows very well. What does she know? What does he know? That it is temporary. But still one chases that which is temporary because they think that they cannot do any better, and that temporary alone they can kind of patchwork and make it into permanent. But then they never succeed. So then this also prasiddham loke, what? Sukhasya kshanikatvam. Lot of poetry is there and lot of country songs are there. How everything is sad and everything comes to an end and all these things. And then lots of poetry is there. So this also prasiddham loke. This is also very much there in the world, understood. So sukhasya kshanikatvam. So why is the sukha temporary? And then, so he says, hello, let us understand what is the cause of the sukha. What was the cause of the sukha? Whether you say good karma or you say a conducive vritti, both of those are, two reasons which we get. A conducive disposition or good karma, those are the cause of the sukha, correct? So the good karma lasts. That is also kshanika, anavasthita. It is not avasthita. It is not permanent. That is also kshanika. And then good karma is kshanika. And then what about the disposition? Disposition, a good disposition, where this good karma in the form of ananda can be manifest, is even more kshanika than the good karma itself. So the vehicle for the good karma, namely the vritti vishesha, in which this good karma can be manifest, that is also even more kshanika, even more momentary than the good karma itself. So therefore, he says, what does he say? Tad vritti vishesha pratyupasthapakasya karmanaha anavasthitatvat sukhasya kshanikatvam anavasthitatvat. Yeah, anavasthitatvat. This reminds me of a Kathopanishad mantra. Anavastheshu avasthitam vibhumatmanam matva dhirena shochati. So this Atmanam Vibhum, which is means Vibhum means that which is all pervasive. This all pervasive Atma, where is it? Anavastheshu avasthitam. Beautiful words in the from the Kathopanishad. Anavastheshu avasthitam. Avasthitam means that which is permanent. Where? In everything that which is impermanent, that which is permanent is the Atma. Here, the Atma is manifested, is described in the form of Sukha, Atma Sukha, Swarupa Sukha, Swarupananda. So that Atma is described as Ananda because that is what people want. And so, Anavastheshu avasthitam. So in everything that is anavasthita means not permanent. In this world of non-permanence, that which abides permanently, abides as it were, is Atma, is this Brahmananda. And so this Brahmananda is in and through everything that is impermanent, but people don't understand that. So Vishaya Sukham iti prasiddham loke. It is understood in the world as Vishaya Sukha, but this tat vritti vishesha pratyupasthapakasya karmanaha. So for this karma, of this karma, what is that? Anavasthitatvam asti. Karmanah anavasthitam asti. So for this karma, there is a impermanence. And so if the karma is impermanent, then the sukha that is generated from the karma is what? How can that be permanent? It also cannot be permanent. That is also impermanent. And then if you talk of vritti vishesha, the vritti vishesha which is conducive to mirroring this sukha, mirroring this good karma in the form of the sukha, etc., that is also temporary. 1 minute happy and next minute back in the doldrums. And so therefore it is, sukhasya api kshanikatvam. So then, if the cause is impermanent, the cause is what? Good karma. If good karma is the cause and that is impermanent, then the effect in the form of the happiness, it will also be impermanent. As long as the good karma is based on as long as the happiness is based on the good karma, that will also be impermanent. Goes without, saying. Definitely it will be impermanent. Or, if this much is understood, we can give a little more creative meaning here. We can say that the vritti vishesha, we can read it slightly differently. We can say that the vritti vishesha pratyupasthapakasya means the agent of the cause of this vritti vishesha. And then the word karmana means object. Yeah, very interesting. Grammatical object, not just good karma. So there is a pun here. So let us go through that clearly. In the first instance, that vritti vishesha pratyupasthapakasya, that cheerful or that conducive disposition, the good karma, that is the cause of this conducive disposition, being anavasthita, being impermanent, the resultant sukha is also impermanent. First meaning. Second meaning, Tad vritti vishesha pratyupasthapakasya means that vritti vishesha pratyupasthapakasya means the cause of the birth of the vritti vishesha, which is what? The object of delight. You see how nice it is? Yeah, that's the second meaning. Very, very beautiful. Really. Only Pujya Swamiji brings all these things out. Amazing. So, karmana here means grammatical karma, the object. So, the object of that which brings out this wonderful vritti, which is what? The object, the delight, etc. The object of delight, the object of that, the cause of this wonderful vritti itself is what? Whatever it is, that object in front of you is anavasthita. The object itself is impermanent. And so then the resultant happiness is also what? Definitely impermanent. So the pratyupasthapakaha means the agent of the cause of its arrival. Of what? Vritti Vishesha, the cause of its birth. Means the one who creates or one that sets up, one that is the karana, which is what? That particular disposition because of which you pick up this Vishaya Sukha. You pick up this happiness. Vishaya Nimitta Sukha, this happiness born of a certain desirable situation. And that sukha, for that sukha, the agent, the cause, sets up this particular vritti vishesha. And what is that? What is that vritti vishesha? Shubha karmana. The shubha karma, it was mentioned earlier. So that karma is alone setting up this wonderful disposition, and tasya karmanaha anavasthitvat. That karma itself is impermanent. Only this far it goes. And therefore, anityatvat, anavasthitatvat means anityatvat. Since it has no permanence, being bound by time, anitya, therefore, sukhasyapi kshanikatvam. Therefore, the happiness generated by this good karma is also temporary, impermanent. And in the second instance, we can say the karma is taken to be as an object. Pratyupasthapakasya karmanaha means the object, the vishaya, which upon the object of delight over which my ananda is focused, that is also asthira. Therefore, the sukha is again kshanika. The vritti vishesha, kshanika. The object, kshanika. No vritti can remain the same, no object remains the same, and then no shubha karma also does not remain the same. So all the way anavasthita, anavasthita, anavasthita. Therefore, sukhasya kshanikatvam. Sukhasya kshanikatvam. Yeah, so that is something very beautiful and very easy to grasp. So beautiful and profound, and again, extremely easy to understand. Very profound. And let us go back to the Bhashya to place ourselves to see where we are. Here, okay. Here we go. Next page, yeah, here we are. So then he says that then further he is going to say, so up till here we are. So sukhasya kshanikatvam. Then he says that yada antahkaranam tapasa tamoghnena vidyaya brahmacharyena shraddhaya cha nirmalatvam apadyate yavat yavat tavat tavat vivikte prasanne antahkarane ananda visheshah utkrishyate vipuli bhavati. And then he has a bunch of quotes. And so what does he say here? Very beautiful. He says that let us see the word tad yada, whenever antahkaranam, the antahkarana, the inner instrument is clarified. How is it clarified? Tapasa, through tapas. Through tapas, what happens? The tamas goes away through tapas. So you spell tamas Tamas, okay, and then you spell tapas Tapas. So the M has to be converted to P. That's all. So just one letter difference between tamas and tapas. So in order, tamognaha means the killer of tamas is what? Tapas. Tapas here means a disciplined religious life where Ishvara is front and center. And so Vidyaya here means upasanaya, through various upasanas. And then what else? Brahmacharyena, a disciplined religious life. Shraddhaya, bringing Bhagavan here. Shraddha always brings Bhagavan. So then Shraddhaya, through developing trust, etc. Then Nirmalatvam apadyate, it becomes clarified of the Raga Dvesha. Yavat yavat, whenever, tavat tavat, at that time, vivikte. Vivikte means it is manifest. What is manifest? How is it manifest? Prasanne antakarane, in the clarified antakarana. What is manifest? Ananda Visheshaha. This Ananda, specific Ananda that is manifest, Utkrishyate, Vipuli Bhavati, increases, keeps on increasing. So here, very beautiful thing, a very beautiful connection here. He is setting it up for the next particular thing that we are going to study, the next important topic, which is Ananda Mimamsa, a comparative degree of Ananda. So he's doing a setup. And what is that setup? He says, Yavat Yavat, whenever the Antakarana is free of Ragadvesha, then through all these methods like brahmacharya and tapas and all these things, through these things, when there is clarity, then the greater the clarity, the greater the ananda. So next time you see somebody enjoying themselves a lot all the time, don't be envious of them. Just recognize the fact that perhaps they have a clearer antakarana. That's all it is. And that's not because of karma. You can also cultivate that. That is the idea. So it's not that their karma, you have been, singled out for bad karma. Not like that. No. Because that antakarana vritti can be developed by everybody. Why? Because there is free will involved. More, some very nice quotations will be coming. More we'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadagya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om